Hey everyone, welcome. I'm so excited. Today we're talking about spring. And has spring sprung in your homeschool routines? I don't know because spring is sprung everywhere. And if it's not yet, if you're in a really cold place, it's about to. So I'm really excited about this because sometimes, life after the Christmas break can be very monotonous. When I was teaching in public school, and I was teaching high school English, it was the time January was like, okay, we're getting back in the swing of things. We're kind of moving. And then February and especially March was the longest month ever because there's 31 days. You don't have any breaks. It's like there's all this. It's just monotonous and it can really be hard to get through that. And then we have April. April's kind of like, okay, we might have some interesting things, but it's not necessarily the best. And so and then May comes around, and May is sort of like a wash. Like you might be doing some stuff, you might not be, but it's kind of up in the air, right? And it might just be the same thing all the time. And it's really hard to breathe that new life. And everybody's kind of done in May. And so it's really hard to make sure that you have, and you have things that are moving along and things feel good, and you have breath of life, and you have joy and peace and fun and energy in your home, and that's what we all want. But it can get hard sometimes, especially when we're, just trying to get through the day, just trying to move things along. And so that can be it can cause a lot of complaining. It can cause frustration. We're just ho hum about our homeschool. And that can be really, really hard. So one thing I want you to do today is I want you to think about where you're at. I want you to think about what is happening. And in your homeschool, are you feeling that loss of energy? Are you feeling that loss of life? And think about, what contributes to that? Are you doing the same things every day? Are you trying to get through instead of fostering that inspiration, that love of learning, which you guys know I am all about all the time? So what is it that is really, really just that space in your homeschool right now? What is it about, and where does it come from? Where is it coming from, right? Think about that. And I'm going to share with you today ways that you can take spring and the life of spring. Spring is about newness. It's about life and regeneration. It's about giving energy and breath of life into nature, into our bodies. Awaken. It gets sunnier and it gets warmer, and snow is melting. And so we just get this energy that in nature and in our bodies that's happening. And we can feel really stuck when we're not putting that in our routines and we're not putting that into everything that we're doing. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because you can do so much to turn that all around. And you can actually breathe that breath of life, that energy, that newness into your homeschool. And you know me, I'm not talking about bringing in a new formalized curriculum. I'm not talking about doing a new online class. That's what I'm about, is getting the inspiration to be high, and remembering that learning happens everywhere all the time, right? Learning happens everywhere all the time. And so one of the things I want you to think about is getting rid of that complaining, the monotony, that kind of that just trying to get through homeschool by using the seasons. And the seasons can share a lot about not only just what's happening in the world, but what's happening in our bodies, what's happening in nature, and using that to our advantage. Like winter is a good time to kind of hunker down a little bit and get warm and cozy, and to be together, that togetherness, right? But spring is really about opening up, getting our eyes big, getting out in the sun, and doing a lot of things that can mix up and breathe new life. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. And I hope that you take all of this and start to think about ways that you can incorporate. If you need help with figuring out more ways of how do I actually put that into our schedule, in our life, definitely always feel free to reach out and contact me. I always have my booking link below. You can schedule a call with me and let's figure that out because it's so fun. It's so fun, you guys. So here are some tips. You guys ready? Here are some tips that I want to, and they're more of like broad ideas. And then I'm going to give you some examples and to how to incorporate that for you guys. Okay. So first thing is the outside. I already mentioned it once before, but the outside. So, outside, how is your outside being? How is are you getting outside? Or do you live in a place where it's still super cold? Maybe you can't get outside so much, but it's starting to be where you can. Even I know I have a friend in Maine and she's got this amazing blueberry farm and she's so awesome. Brittany Young, you guys know I've posted from her for a couple different times and interviewed her on this podcast. And she's so amazing. And even she's showing pictures of even in Maine, it's like the snow is gone. It's starting to look great. So I know you're in a place where it's likely by this time of year, it's likely that there's not snow. You can get outside, but doing things outside changes everything. Why? Because you're getting energy from the sun, you're getting energy just from new fresh air, you're being in a new place. And it also sends a really good message. What's that message? Learning happens everywhere all the time, right? So we don't have to be at our desk. We don't have to be in our schoolroom. Oh, there's a whole thing about schoolrooms that I talk about, but learning happens everywhere all the time. And so taking it outside, taking it out of our normal routine, the kitchen table, wherever you normally do your studies, taking that outside changes everything. Get a hammock, read in the hammock or do things like getting together and doing a project outside, or maybe it's also just doing studies outside, and that's okay too. It's not, of course we want to do more things than just that, but it's okay to just change it up and just take it outside, take it to the park, take it to the backyard, take it somewhere where there's fresh air and you can just spread out and have some relaxation, get some vitamin D, and really change the energy that's coming into that. Does that make sense, you guys? Get outside, take it outside. Also with the getting outside is the newness of life, right? So breathing new life into things also means like actually creating life. And so that's what happens a lot in the spring. If you own a farm, if you've been on a farm, you know that if you've been looking around, you live with animals around you, you know that spring is the time for babies. And that is something that you can do for plants too. And so I know I'm a huge gardener. I don't know if I'm like a voracious gardener or anything, but I definitely love gardening. And I feel like I get this itch when it starts to warm up. And for us, it's literally like this week. It's starting to get up there. Like Sunday, we're going to be at 80 degrees, you guys. I live in Northern California. So that's pretty early for us. Usually that doesn't happen and sometimes into June. So I'm excited about it. I know it's not going to stay that way, but that's okay. And this is a time for us to really get outside and plant something. I know some of you think you got black thumbs and you can't plant anything. You can't keep anything alive. Who cares? Plant something. Plant something inside for right now if you live in a really cold area. Start some seedlings. Let your kids, even if you don't do it, let your kids do it. Just get a couple of plastic cups, put a couple seeds in there and let them sprout. Let the kids be responsible for it. Let them, remind them, oh, good, we got to water our plants today. We got to, and just watch it grow. If you use a clear plastic cup or use a Ziploc bag or something like that taped to a window to start your seedlings, it's a really fun way to do it. You can do, if you do a plastic bag taped to the window, you can also just wrap it in wet paper towel, which is really cool. And then it'll start to sprout and you can kind of see the seedlings and everything, which is awesome. So have the kids, don't close the bag all the way, by the way. Close it maybe 2/3 of the way. That way air can get in. Otherwise, you're not going to have a seedling. But so anyways, that is something that's really fun for the kids to do. That new life, the new project, something that's amazing. They can see that happening, right? And the next thing to do is go out of your house and go on some nature trips. Go out and visit nature. So, when I mean nature, I mean like go on a hike. Go to a farm, visit a farm. Go to like a petting zoo or a zoo, for crying out loud. Go to a museum or something like that, and just get in there and just get outside, get into that kind of blooming of nature, right? So that nature trips are really, really fun. Go to like we've been to bee farms, we've been to like honey farms, we've been to agricultural sustainable farms, we've been to animal farms, we've been to both in terms of uh, plant culture, plant raising, and then also we've been to animal raising, or both combined. We have amazing opportunities out here in California with lots of nature around us, with the ocean, rescue centers. You can even go to your local dog shelter. I mean, for crying out loud, there's a lot of places you could go. A breeder, and just like look at some puppies, right? That's fun. But these are some things you can do to get out of your house. Take learning outside. So fun. You have no idea, you guys, what it will do to just shake it up. Shake it up a little bit, shake up your routine, and just change it all up. It's okay. It's okay if you're not in the book every single day. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I know you don't think it's fine, but it's fine. Okay, it's fine. The next thing to do would be to do baking or cooking. Again, this is one of those like itches that we have, especially if we're bakers or we love to cook, and get the kids involved in that kind of stuff. If they are already fantastico, maybe you can change it up with seasonal foods, right? So starting to get some of the spring foods, starting to use, like citrus is big right now, and starting sort of the end of citrus season, but it's really still, it's all there in the grocery store still. So start to get seasonal about it, and think about that's a huge lesson too. What kind of plants grow, what kind of food grows during these times? Oh my gosh, you guys, so cool, right? And even teenagers don't even know that stuff. Adults don't even know, because we have all these grocery stores that have foods from all over the world, and we have access to a lot of things. So, but what really, if we were living from the earth, what would we be eating right now, right? What would be growing right now? So spring, like snow peas and, things like that, things that grow early and that are, just really spring foods. I think that's something that is really, really fun. And then also digging into art and music, poetry. Again, it's that creative mode. Spring brings creativity. It inspires regeneration, which is creativity. I know I might be a little existential for some of y'all right now, but this is really what it is. If you think about what happens during spring, things come to life. That means there's creativity happening. So thinking in a creative mode, like art projects or music, even not just lessons, but just making music, having a dance party, maybe outside. Maybe outside, right? And then, or doing something like writing poetry or reading poetry as your read alouds. That's something maybe outside, right? That's something that's so fun and is super creative. I think you guys are going to really enjoy mixing it up right now, because it can be a long haul from April to the end of May or June, or however far you go in your homeschooling. We are one of those people that kind of never stop, but it's still that newness and bringing different things and starting to get outside, even just pulling weeds. I was out there just yesterday watering and pulling some weeds, and it was so refreshing just to get out there. And my son was just out there walking around talking my ear off about stuff, and he was helping a little bit, and he usually does help, but he was going to go outside to take his book outside to read. And so he was going to read out there, but I was out there too. And he always likes to talk my ear off about all kinds of things he's learning and things he's interested in. So he was doing a lot of chatting, and that's a great time for connection. So don't feel like this is all just, we got to have something planned, because you don't. You don't have to have something planned. You can just go outside and let's pull some weeds. I was talking to a family yesterday, and they said, "Oh, spring break's coming up. We're going to do spring break." And I said, "Okay, well, are you guys going to go anywhere?" And they said, "No." And I said, "Oh, I know what that means." And they had teenage boys, right? So I said, "That means yard work." And they were like, "Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do." Because everybody has like a massive amount of overgrowth happening right now, at least in our area. And so we need to be managing all of that. So that's mow the lawn, heck, just plant some flowers, do some things. It might be a little early for you to do that yet, but you can do it inside, and then bring it outside when they're all sprouted. Is a beautiful time to create seedlings and to grow from scratch. And then you can transfer them outside when it warms up. I always intend to do that, and then I never actually get to it. I just wait until it's time to plant, and then I just direct plant, because I don't have time to. I just feel like I want to get it in the ground. I don't want to worry. I don't want to transfer all those things. So that is something you can do to really help create that new. Do you guys feel that right now? I mean, do you feel like if you did those things as I'm talking about them, do you feel that newness, that breath of life, that that part of homeschool that you can just get out there? You can visualize your family getting out and doing those things, and taking little field trips and doing all that stuff really does help create the energy stream that you need to finish off the year. And it also really helps you get into new routines. This is a little family reset, if you will, right? If you don't know what the family reset is, go back and listen to that in episodes. Actually, don't remember what episode it is. It's early on. It's like somewhere between 1 through 12, I think. So go back and look at that. But the family reset is amazing. And that's part of the family reset, is just doing things together, going outside, mixing it up, learning new things, and having those relationships, and really solidifying those. And that is something that we can all do every single time that we feel kind of monotonous. We feel a struggle, we feel the complaining and the frustration happening, and we feel stressed about homeschooling. That's something you can do. I'm just talking about utilizing the season, especially spring, to be able to take a big breath and just let some of the hard stuff be where it is, and take a break and move to something that will hopefully rekindle that love of learning in your home. And so I definitely recommend to take that love of learning assessment that I always put in the links everywhere where you are listening to this, watching this, and make sure you take that love of learning assessment to be able to get a snapshot of where you are right now in your level of love of learning in your home. And then do some fun stuff, get outside, be springy, get that spring of life into your homeschool routines, and then take it again. I almost guarantee you that there will be a change for the better. And if not, if you don't know how to implement this, I want you to contact me. I want to chat with you, because this is something that can make a lot of difference for you. It's really, really fun. And then also, this is something that we do all the time in our homeschool, our Inspiring Lifelong Learning program in the Raising Leaders Roadmap. This is what I love that our community does there. We get on these group mentoring calls, and they are so good about engaging your resources and sharing them. And then also they're great about just coming up with different ideas and sharing those things. So it's so fun to be able to do that. Like, hey, have you tried this? What are we doing? I love that community. It's super great. And those people are amazing. I love that family, those families. They're really being intentional about making sure that they keep love of learning high. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely contact me. But I want you to be able to make sure to give you some things today that you can implement right now in your homeschool, that you can start to change things up for spring and breathe the life back into your homeschool. You guys, I'm so excited about this. So excited to talk to you today. And we have some great stuff coming up. And I am so excited about everything that's happening for spring. Spring is not only just springing in our homeschool and breathing new life back, but it's also bringing new life into everything and everything I have to offer for you guys. And what's coming soon is amazing. So I can't tell you about it right now, but I'm so excited about telling you about this. I can almost not even control myself. So I'm going to stop before I let the cats out of the bag, but this is exciting. And I hope you guys got a lot out of today and you can implement that in your homeschool. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.